Hello and welcome back, dear fans of the genre. Well, what should I say? E3 was pretty amazing in terms of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Not only the trailer was released, but there were a whole heap of screenshots been released at the same time. So that's something we will go through right now. I will take a look at all the screenshots, and all in all, those are 24. So I won't go super deep on each one of them, but I will just talk about what I think we can see here, what this implies, and just some comments, some implications, and all that stuff. So the first here we got is very likely a screenshot from the Eric the Red mission from the Battle of the Conquerors. This the whole setup seems to fit the player colors, the factions, the map itself. And what do we see here? We see some ships, we see demolition ship exploding, Viking longships. First thing which really caught my eye is the tower here in the north. First I thought it would be a keep, but at the same time we see a watchtower here on the bottom. And while a keep always was higher, it wasn't like wider compared to a normal watchtower. So I think what we're actually seeing here is a similar thing the Forgotten Empires developers already did to the building which stands right next to it, which might be a hint to what is happening here. The trade workshop has gotten reskinned, so each build set has its own unique trade workshop, and I think this building right next to the trade workshop is a sea fortification building, which previously was either the African or the Indian buildings. I think this is what we're seeing here, so unique sea fortifications for each build set, so you can use them in your scenarios without like looking weird. There are two types of eggs wearing warriors here. The one is clearly the Berserker. The other ones also were in the game already, at least in the HD edition. It's called the Northern Swordsman, well, except it's actually carrying an axe, but that's just details. And it is an editor unit, so no second infantry unit for the Vikings here. That is old stuff already. But I think that is enough about the first screenshot. There we go. This is showing one of the new civilizations. They are all four new civs. I will talk about the new civs in detail on later videos. Right now I just want to take a look at all of those screenshots here. So it is the Cumans. We see some cavalry archers. I think those are actually a unique unit of the Cumans. And then there is camel or a dromedar carrying haystacks or bales. Probably an editor unit if you ask me. You can't see this as an in-game unit really any used, because close to the south there's a trade cart, so this is not what some people I think have assumed so far, that this could be a signal that we have built a set specific trade cards. I think that will not happen here. But now getting to the interesting part, there is a second unit which I can't quite pin down. It's a heavily armored, like armored horse, armored rider, and just carrying a spear. And if we just brainstorm real quick all of the units carrying a spear in Age of Empires 2, where, well, the Magyar Hussar, and that's pretty much about it. Maybe you could count the Knight Templar, Frankish Paladin, and all those units carrying the same unit type from the editor as well, but they were more carrying a lance than a spear. But regardless, none of those units were actually accessible in normal missions, and we've seen this lancer in quite a few screenshots, or we will see them in quite a few screenshots. So I get some theories about those. The first one would be the least exciting one, that this is just a reskin for the already existing heavy cavalry unit in the editor called the Saravan, I think, which is introduced in one of the campaigns as a Persian heavily armored mercenary. But I think there might be something more connected with this lancer, that this might be actually available to all Asian or Central Asian civilizations as an additional unit from the stable, just as the Southeast Asian civs actually have the battle elephants available to them. So this could be a somewhat unique unit which is shared between different civs. Now we do see a little ox cart here, however. It is probably something like the donkey, so it is available in the editor. It can work as a replacement for trade cards, but does more or less the same job, maybe with a little bit differing stats. Maybe there's more to that though. I don't want to rule that option out just yet. There's this one unit here, another Cav Archer. I think this could be... it doesn't look like it's a version of the Cav Archers from the south, because it doesn't wear a helmet. I think it might be a hero unit, so that's what I would like to say about this. Also a pig here, which is probably just another reskin for the sheep, just as the goats were previously, but having more variation, always a great thing. Okay, but now let's head straight into the next screenshot. They are actually sharing the building set with the Portuguese, with the Italians and the Spanish, so the Spanish and Byzantines both switched their building set to the Mediterranean one, which makes sense because it is actually Mediterranean civilization. Also, this is actually not a Byzantine city, but it's really an Italian. But since they have the same build set, you could mistake the two easily, except of course for the beautiful modeled Junior's crossbowman we can see here. This little well here, another new decoration object. I think these statues are also... previously we only had like one type of statue. It looks like we are getting several types of them now. Also those towers, they look pretty neat. Now heading straight to the next screenshot, which is actually showing one of the new civilizations as well, the Lithuanians. This was also a scene shown in the trailer, but it's actually zoomed out, so there's a lot more to see here. We have the unique unit, which is the rider with the white horse and the lance. So this is another unit with a lance or with a spear added to the game. Also we see here Magyar hussars, I would say. These shields, the hussar wings, I would tell you that. Oh, there's also a boyar here, I think. This axe on a cavalry unit, heavily armored round shield. That is usually a boyar for you. So there's a mixture of Slavish, Magyar and Lithuanian units here. We'll just move on to the next one. Here we do see a Southeast Asian civ, which is probably the Chimera, since there are ballista, elephants, there is a fleet. It looks fine. You can recognize the units, they're detailed, and now it's the first time that I noticed there actually some little elephant statues on those castles, which just makes them look so much cooler. Okay, but I think in terms of new information, there's not too much to be gained from this screenshot either. Next one is, I think, also one from the trailer. We see two armies fighting, and those statues here, they are different from the ones we saw before. So there seems either building set related sets of statues, or just a wider range of statues you could place. We saw those rams here. You can't see that on the screenshot actually, but in the trailer saw they had a lot more movement. So not only the head of the ram was moving, but the whole ram was moving when it was ramming, which made the impact feel a lot, well, more impacty. The next screenshot here is showing us a Spanish town, if I'm not mistaken, and there's actually a Greek statue here, Greek or Roman, I'm not entirely sure about that, but again, more different statues. This new mill also looks quite fantastic, but this was the main content of this screenshot, I think, was to show that the Spanish also have the Mediterranean building set now. So here we see another shot at the Slav build set. They look like another siege situation. This in the center is probably the Wonder, just judging from the sheer size of the thing. Also, new mill, having a unique look. And now a little bit more obscure thing here, the statue you see here, I think that was one of the ones we already had in 8.2, the normal, the HD edition, the CD version. This just looks a little bit more crumbled, of course more detailed, but here is a cannon galleon, and this one looks quite silvery actually. We will see more later on, which are looking more rusty, more bronze colored. This could mean one of two things. First one would be that not only the sails but also other parts of the ships will look Civ specific now. Or it could mean, something which I think would even be more interesting, is that elite and non-elite versions of units actually could have different looks. Take a look at those bombards. They are definitely looking more yellowish, golden, bronze colored compared to the other ones. We also have the galleon figure, which I think we didn't see on the last one. So there is some difference between those. What this really means, well, it's either one of the two options, I would say. The map itself seems to be altered here as well, which is something I saw on all of the campaign screenshots. So they were either just pimped out a little bit to look better on the screenshot, that could be an option, but something I would assume could also be the case is that they edited the campaign missions themselves, because in Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition the campaigns have been reworked, not all of them, and in varying grades. Some were only slightly altered, some were redone from the ground up, pimped out a little bit. They were either just they got a lot of talented scenario creators and editors in their team, so that's definitely something to look forward to. Here we see another, I would say, Italian landscape. Those cavalry units look very Roman cavalry-ish. Also, another little thing here I noticed is that the gate is another color than the walls. So I would say this is definitely part of a scenario. Maybe a reworked old one or one of the new ones. Or the new one. I'm not quite sure how many missions and all that stuff is actually waiting for us. We need more information on that still. In the next round we see a big battle, and there is one element which directly just jumps straight into your eyes. It is a chariot with 3 horses. It has 2 persons on it. One is navigating the horses, I think, and carrying a little spear with a flag on it. The other one is sitting on a chair there, carrying a sword in one hand, what it looks like, and also wearing a bronze armor. So this definitely doesn't look like a medieval unit actually. I'm not sure what this actually means. It is probably a hero unit, I would say, because there's only a single one, and this guy sitting on his stool here might be a giveaway that this is someone special. But I don't want to pin that down just yet, because I think I don't have enough information on it, and could be very, very wrong with the assumption I could take here. Now, something which is appearing here once again are those lands as we saw before. We don't really see too much of the buildings of the purple player, only this castle here. Could be a fortress, some ruins maybe, I'm not sure. There's not enough indication to say which civ this really is. Another little detail here. Another wild animal, which is the ibex. I think it's ibex. It's just a mountain goat here in the top right corner. The next one here is another Southeast Asian civ. Normal bull elephants. We also see armored elephants here, I suppose. Yeah, there they are. This here in the middle is a Persian war elephant, because there's nobody sitting on top of that, of course. Okay, heading on to the next one. Here we see a Malian town, I believe, but there are both Gabotos and Showtail warriors here, so it really could be any of the two. The warriors looking fiercer as ever, and here finally you can actually see the throwing knives of the Gaboto in detail. I made quite a while back when African Kingdoms came out a video about Gabotos and their historic background and the weapons they used, and also so on and so forth. That was quite fun. Now we have finally a higher resolution picture of a Gaboto, which would have made my research so much easier back then. Okay, heading straight onto the next screenshot here. We see eagle warriors here. I think those are actually not the elite eagles, because their shield looks kind of small, but this is eagle warrior, and Tlaxcala has elite eagle warriors. Then there are eagle scouts here for Tlaxcala as well, which just don't have a shield at all, but still have that eagle head thing going on. Actually, those are Mayans here defending, so this is maybe not something out of the Aztecs campaign after all, because there are also plumed archers here in the defense. And once again, I think this theory of the sea fortification is getting more and more substance, because this tower you see here is clearly different from the other towers. It has a wider base, and I think this is a sea fortification, once again this time in the Mesoamerican variation. I'm very confident that this is actually true. Okay, now what is this? This is a battle scene between Britons and Celts, actually. William of Wallace, in this case, probably, fighting the English. I don't think this is a part of a campaign mission there. Maybe they redid the learning campaign as well, which would be awesome if they featured like a bigger battle, because even for a learning campaign, the final mission felt a little bit anticlimactic. Lots of the map was just empty. A little bit more action-packed finale would have been anything. Probably not a top priority, but one may dream after all. Okay, so we do see in the south there is a wonder to the left, and there are two castles, and in the middle there's a building which is called the Fortress. It is a scenario editor building as well. It has been introduced in the HD edition, and it's just a different looking castle. I think it has more HP, but yeah, it's not really that important, only it adds visual variety. And also something you see here is this explosion, which is a trebuchet shot with chemistry. So they not only have those glowing projectiles, but once they hit something, there's also this explosion shown. Also, this tower is the Tower of the Flies. It could also be a sea fortification, but that would not really make sense for this build set, since the Tower of the Flies was already there, and just copying a different tower onto that model, I'm not sure if that would make too much sense after all. But it could possibly be that this is the Western European version of that thing. It seems like you can also place the archer practice straw things here freely now, so even more variation. And the grass living close to water seems to be bigger patches, but you can also have smaller ones. This could make coastlines look a lot cooler as well. This is another screenshot from the original campaigns. This is Barbarossa Michele 3. I'm not sure about that. The one where you were on the crusade and were trying to sail home. Here we see a few very interesting things. First of all, it shows us that the Byzantines now are sharing the builder set with Mediterranean ships, which I kind of spoiled you there. Sorry about that. The other exciting thing about this are the sea walls. Previously, sea walls were in the game since Age of Kings actually, but they were looking exactly the same as normal palisade walls. And now they are not like palisadey, but they are more like a sea wall would appear to look. They are even a little bit, the model's a little bit under the water surface, so they look like they are really a little bit deeper and not just pasted on top of the water, which would really be a strange wall. It also has a unique looking gate with a chain attached to it, which was the way harbors were fortified back in the day, with just that big chain, and when the chain's up, no ship can sail in there and stay in one piece. So this is probably looking like this when the gate is closed, and when the gate is open the chain will disappear probably because it's under the water surface, which is a kind of clever way to show the opening and closing of a sea gate without really looking strange and kind of silly as it was before with the normal land-based gate animation. Alright, but let's now take a look at the next one, which is this time, I'm quite sure that this is a screenshot from the Boiling Lake scenario. You see the Aztecs in green pushing back Cortez's army, the conquistadors, archers, and champions probably. The arbalists from the Aztecs, I'm not 100% sure, but there's the arbalists, so the weapons of the arbalists, which are also called arbalists. They're very big. They seem to be a little bit out of proportion maybe. I'm not quite sold on those just yet. The boar, however, or this is probably a javelina because it's in Mesoamerica, it looks very fierce, I can say that. These Aztec buildings are absolutely wonderful, just the amount of details, and it just looks so warm and yeah, realistic to say. The structures, the textures, Lovely. Lovely. Now we see another screenshot from a campaign. This is actually from the Chinese mission from the Battles of the Forgotten. We see sea fortifications once again, looking absolutely stunning. Another thing we see here is the lances are appearing here as well as part of the Chinese civilization. So does this confirm anything? Not really. It is a campaign screenshot after all, but I think it pushes the thing closer to the direction that all like Central Asian, or can you say Northeast Asian civs, is that a thing? But if it is a thing, then those civs share a cav anti-cav unit. Not sure if this is anti-cav actually, because the Chinese do have very nice camels. So I'm not sure which gap this unit actually fills, but I think it could be that this is a shared unit between those factions after all. Now we see another screenshot from the original campaigns, and it is the Jeanne d'Arc, Joanna of Orleans, which is the Franks campaign, of course. We have siege towers, another hint at the campaigns being reworked as well. We see wonderfully shattered gates here as well. See how those are spread across the area. Another thing I noticed about those knights, I first thought, when I saw, paladins, first thought that they were actually Civ specific, because I saw the knights and I saw the lilies on the back of the horse cloth thing, and of course lilies are the symbol of the royal French king. And I thought, was kind of excited at that point to see, oh, we have Civ specific skins on paladins or different units. But then I took a look at a paladin from a different angle, and then I noticed, oh, that theory is pretty garbage, because there was an English lion on the shield of the paladin, of the Frankish paladin. And I thought, okay, they probably just took different iconographies, different symbolisms, put them together to one unit, which is compromised to be not looking out of place when it's on different civilizations, but it's also not been able to pin that down to one specific origin. Just a little mishmash, so it can be used in different situations, which I am fine with. It will probably add a lot to clutter if everyone had their own type of each unit. So you have to keep the game playable after all. And then another unit here, which is actually carrying a lance here, is the, I think it was called Frankish Paladin, an editor unit. Also some other hero units were sharing the model of that. Next screenshot is another campaign screenshot. You will probably recognize those 8 lads there. I remember when I played the Mongol campaign, I think it was the first campaign I ever played, after William Wallace, of course, and that great moment when you have your little patrol and some outposts, and suddenly you see the whole big horde of the Khan. It was pretty breathtaking, like Keanu Reeves, of course. And yeah, we see Mangadayu with the capes. I'm not 100% sold on these capes. Actually, they look a little bit too big. Like they would look good on a hero unit, but when you have when everybody's looking special, nobody's looking special. Along those lines, I would argue here. But apart from that, another ox cart, but there's actually a different ox cart. This one has a roof. Again, I think this really is an editor unit. I can't see this being the Mongol trade card. It just is too big for that role. But as a editor unit, this opens up a lot of different ways to use it, which I'm already looking forward to. Moving on to the next screenshot, we see the Timurids and their wonder, the Ulug Big Observatory. As I already said, I will do a separate video about the wonders which are confirmed, which are speculated on, and their backgrounds. This observatory has quite an interesting backstory, but more about this at a later point. Let's just take a look at the buildings here themselves. They have the round shapes, turquoise color, which is not necessarily the player color, keep that in mind. But there was a lot of turquoise used in the city of Samarkand, and this is what this is trying to emulate. So moving on to the last screenshot here, this is actually part of the trailer as well. the final scene, we see the first mission of the Saracen or Saladin campaign, where you are attacking the Wonder of Cairo or threatening to destroy it. Here you actually do that. But what I found quite remarkable here was the animation of the Wonder getting destroyed. See how it's starting to collapse in some of the weak points, the arch and this cupola there. The tower is collapsing, and then of it is falling inwards until it's reduced to a pile of rubble. It's just very beautiful to look at, and I think this and the animation of the castle, which was seen in the gameplay demo, wonderful to look at, and I'll probably not grow tired of seeing that castle crumbling for quite some time. Yeah, but for now this is all we got here in terms of screenshots. I'll probably go a little bit more into detail with the wonders and the new civs and the unique units and the possible civ bonuses, or just the historical background, which I'm a little bit more experienced in than knowing anything about gameplay. So that is something I'm definitely looking forward to doing in the future. But I wish you a wonderful day and week and whatever it might be where you are. And I just want to say I'm really hyped for this game. I'm looking forward to the closed beta. Hopefully we'll be able to play there as well. If you haven't signed up just for that just yet, I will also hopefully try to remember to put a link to the registration into the description of this video. For now, I would like to thank you for being around here, and would love to know your thoughts about the new graphics, about the new civs, the new features, and yeah, I wish you a great day. Goodbye, and until next time.